Rachel, just to set this in context for us, a lot was expected to happen in Copenhagen, but from Singapore it sounds as though they're being very cautious.
They're certainly being very cautious indeed. In fact, you could say they're being very pessimistic. You've got 21 global leaders here from the Asia-Pacific region. And whilst it wasn't the main focus of the main summit, climate change was on the periphery here on the agenda. And there was a special breakfast meeting here this morning, at which the idea was to try and thrash out some sort of statement which might help give a bit of momentum to climate change talks. In the end, what they decided was, let's be realistic about this. I just spoke to the Prime Minister of New Zealand and he said, we've decided that realistically there is not going to be a deal done in Copenhagen. So it's better to say that now and try and set some sort of new, more realistic expectation from the meeting next month. And that may be just to sign up politically to climate change and reducing gas emissions, but actually not to set necessarily new binding targets. So a lot of disappointment here from those that wanted to see a more positive signal. The APEC leaders are now all saying, well, actually, we did sign up to a lot of other important things on the economy and trade, but on climate change, their message was, it's not going to happen this time round.
Is that because worries about the world recession and getting out of that? Is that the prevailing problem in the background, and they want to sort of deal with that first, so to speak?
It's certainly a part of it, yes. It's certainly a part of it that they're saying they don't want climate change reduction to get in the way of their other trade goals and in boosting the economy. But I think behind it is a broader rift, really, that we've seen in all climate change talks that have been going on recently in preparation for Copenhagen, and that is between the developing world and the developed world, with each thinking that the other needs to do more. At the centre of that, of course, is largely the United States and China. Now, Barack Obama leaves Singapore later this evening and goes on to China for 3 days of discussions. It's fairly certain, I would say, that climate change will be on the agenda there. But the talk now is of trying to move towards Copenhagen as a staging post rather than the final finishing line.
Of course, in the days when George Bush was president, America was seen as very much the stumbling block. Barack Obama would now like to paint the States as very much in the centre of trying to get some sort of deal on climate change.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I think there's also a political reality behind this, that leaders don't want to go to Copenhagen saddled with high expectations and then be criticised for not signing up to a deal that everyone thought they should do. I think part of this is managing expectations, is trying to say, look, we've got to try and be realistic, and if we put pressure on ourselves with a deadline that we then can't meet, isn't that actually much worse than trying to set ourselves some sort of realistic goals of signing up politically to a statement that we can all agree on and to try and fit some other meeting further down the road. Some people will say this is kicking it into the long grass. Others will say, actually, it's just another subtle shorter pass before we go for goal.
Rachel Harvey, thank you very much.